Next offer, we will now travel to Saxony, to the fortress Königstein, the biggest fortress in Europe that has never been conquered, and on a top of the Table Mountain, 500,000 next to the Saxony Bastei. It's one of the major attractions. The Festung Königstein reads and writes accessibility in large letters. They have an inclusion officer in full-time employment, and we have here Julia Gesell, the DGS media guide, and also Dr. André Thieme is by her side, the CEO. Where are they? Please applaud them.
They're way in the back. Please give them another hand until they have reached the stage. Yes, thank you very much. Just a few words from me because the project manager is here. Festung Königstein. It has already been introduced. We are the opposite of Humboldt Forum. We are a historic object, and it is more difficult to handle in terms of accessibility. The fortress is 500 years old, and it was made for cannons. You had to move the very heavy cannons back and forth. So there is one or the other bridge already there for wheelchair users. But we would like to talk about something else. For 3 years, we have been improving our inclusion offerings. We are fortunate to have Julia Gesell. She wrote her bachelor thesis on this topic, and we appointed her inclusion commissioner. She is reporting to the executive. She has a respective budget, and this bears fruit now. It's not just this one project that we are going to propose and present here. No, we invest in a whole strategy so that we can improve things over time. And what we would like to share with you today is a project that has been implemented. It's this audio guide project. We have just heard from John Sage, who said that it's important not just to introduce apps, but we need to improve customer service and provide comprehensive information. And it has been very important to us from the very beginning of the project. Julia, you have the floor. Thank you very much for the invitation. We tried to produce a brief presentation for today, but it wasn't easy. So demand request was our step number one. We have very close contact to the City Council of Dresden, so we did not have to run far to find the respective persons. We also visited other museums in Dresden. We are fortunate enough that different museums are very well equipped and can work well. So we got different partners on board. For simplicity reasons, we are just showing the logos. So we have the City Association of Deaf People, then we have the German Hygiene Museum. We have a very active and committed colleague there. So we could test and see what they are doing. They use their own app there, so users don't have to download the app. Because of the fortress walls that are very thick, it is very difficult for us to have reception everywhere and provide reception everywhere. Then we picked the company that we use for the audio guys already. It's Orfeo company, Global Visitor Solutions. So we have different tour guide systems that we already use, and we were able to include video offerings. So we didn't have to pick and develop a totally different system, and we didn't need specific trainings then. And after some research, we picked Fish Signs. Katja Fischer, sign language expert. She is very well known in this world, and she basically implemented the first step for us, and we have always been in very close contact with her. And colleagues in Smack and Chemnitz really recommended her. They said, please turn to Miss Fischer. And this is what we did. After a development phase of 3 months, we decided to pick different stations. It's not that easy because the regular audio guide has about 60 stations or stops. We decided to focus on 15 stops first. And we said we will accompany this with PR work from the very beginning. So we didn't start with target group marketing late, but we included it from the very beginning. Then we were fortunate enough that Ms. Fischer has a lot of outreach, also in terms of social media. So we reached out to the target groups easily that we normally would not reach out easily to. So the question was, how can users use the system? And that was then basically posted on the different social media platforms. Without really earmarking money, we reached out to 14,000 people, which is a very high number for us. About 70% of people online used the system, and they used it, and normally we would have never reached out to them. We would have never reached them because Königstein Fortress is not that well known to them. And then we posted it on Facebook and LinkedIn. Again, we reached out to other people, and also in collaboration with the Association of Deaf People, we posted the respective information. And of course, we also included this in our website. And the most important tool is target group marketing. Translation agencies, other groups, they also do advertisement for us, at least to a certain extent. So the Tourism Association we included, we also shared it with other associations. We told them, please add this to your offerings, but we didn't really have to do that much because the target groups had already been active beforehand. In 2 magazines, we now have publications that reported on us. This video is not working, unfortunately. You will get the presentation afterwards. If you want to watch how this was announced, how this was marketed, please go to this presentation and click on the link. You will get to our Instagram page directly. Hold on, let me play this quickly. This is the simplified version. On the cell phone, it looks quite different. Ms. Fischer, you can see here, she is not just presenting the audio guide. She also mentions that on the website you will find videos on this. We can offer both, in other words, and this is what it then looks like. It is spring now, so we don't have the snow picture online anymore. But for those who have never been to our fortress, it is a relatively big institution. We have 15 stops, mainly outdoor stops, where you can see different things and you get the respective information there. You can check where the cannons were, what about Friedrichsburg, what about the history of it, because explanations alone will not really give you enough knowledge. The screenshot on the top left is one of the PVA. It is always identically structured, no matter whether it is easy language, the adult tour or the kids tour. So you always have this landing window and then you click on start. The agency improved things for us. Normally it is 9:16, that is the format. But when it comes to a sign language video, this would not be perfect. Hence, they adjusted it accordingly. So you can watch it in this format, but you can also tilt it so that you can use the full size of your phone to better see things. And there are always subtitles and captions, so you can either opt for sign language interpretation or for subtitles. Down here, this is one of the videos that we have on our website. I think we have 5 to 6 videos on our website, and they explain the necessary things. Welcome, what about the journey, what about restaurants, what else do you find? And the big permanent exhibition is also presented there. We decided to do this because there are many haptic elements, things where you don't necessarily have to read texts, things where you don't necessarily have to listen to anything. And here are the most important achievements. Within 1 month, and that was May of 2025 when everything was launched, we had a usage rate of 1% of all users. I mean, that doesn't really mean a lot, but in this month we had 4,900 calls of the entire app. So you can say if 50 people use this app that had just been launched and look at it, and we have seen that they looked at the entire app, then this is a relatively good achievement. And the benefit for us is that our awareness is increased within the deaf community, because if you don't make any respective offerings, then people don't know you. What has been very important to us is the history of the fortress, that it's made possible to more people. The texts that we have in our exhibitions, compared to others, are relatively simple and easy to understand. We are relatively strict. Museum experts should not write long texts, so we have experts that review the texts and boil them down to the necessary. But of course, grammar in sign language is different than grammar in language. So we wanted to avoid exhaustion and stress for the persons affected. As we speak, we are expanding our services. 2 or 3 days ago, I got a video. I am now checking the video to figure out whether everything fits. The guidance system is now being improved. Signage is included, so we also create transparency for those who do not necessarily have to or want to use it, just to offer or just to make this offering. You will see a picture of what it looks like on the next slide. And since May 2025, we have increased interaction with the community, be it on Facebook, where we get feedback or suggestions, or be it more people come from Dresden. We also offer staff training, and they told us that it was aha and a wow effect in Dresden that we now offer this at the Fortress. This is just a brief insight. This is what it's going to look like once the new guiding system has been established. It's not that easy. We need to do this step by step. We have learned that we have more than 300 signs on our premises. It is just description of buildings, but you can see here on the left that we also use the respective pictograms. Adult tour, kids tour, then the symbol of simple language, sign language, and then there's also the QR code that the users can use. I can't really say more. This is an offering that is very well received. We wanted to include our staff. This is why we offer 2 sign language trainings. The interest was so big that we offer 2 trainings. Financially speaking, that was quite something, but it pays off because now people understand what this is all about. It resonates with you. We could take them on board. They were totally enthused. They now have more awareness of this group of the persons affected, which was very important to us. So this opened our eyes again, and we will make further progress. We have produced this audio guide for deaf people, and it will be expanded by 15 further stops or stations. And this year we will also focus on blind people and launch a guide for blind people. That is an app. I mean, we cannot develop a whole guidance system, a tactile guidance system at the Fortress. It's not going to work. But we will make it possible for blind people to move independently at the Fortress, and we will make progress this year, hopefully. That was it from us. Thank you very much for listening.